Okay. And we are live.
Nice.
Yes. Okay. I'm not sure. Somebody has a bit of background noise in their audio, but here we are. And just checking. Okay. Yeah, we are live, and there's already like 30 people watching. So I guess what I can do now is I need to just post something on Telegram. But yeah, welcome. Today is a special community call. This is our first time doing one as a live stream. As usual, we have me and Jeannie, but we're also joined by Carlos from our team, who has been behind the scenes this entire time and has been the guy behind our weekly ZK News updates. And we're actually going to be going over some of these, ZK industry news updates today. And we have Carlos joining to talk about some of the cool stuff. You might have seen the blog posts that we put out on Monday already. And in addition to Carlos, we have two more special guests. We have Yusuf and Malike, who we have interacted with a lot in various hackathons and events. Two very talented young developers from Turkey who recently built something really cool that uses Aligned, or rather integrates with Aligned. So that was in our ZK News blog post, and we're going to talk about it more today. So Yusuf, Malike, thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thanks for having us here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So while I get a couple things set up, you guys, why don't you introduce yourselves? Let's give people watching a bit of background, and then I'll get the presentation going, and we can jump into it.
Okay. You all can hear me right now, right? Okay. So hi everyone. Thanks for having us here today. I'm Yusuf. I'm a computer engineer in the field over 4 years. I'm in the blockchain space over 3 years. We are today here to share our thoughts and talk about our project on Agentic Ethereum. What have we done so far? What are we working on right now? And a little talk about the importance of agents, maybe, etc.
All right. Thank you. So it's Melke. You can call me Mel because it's not hard to pronounce. So I'm a technical product owner, working in Web3 for about 2 years, and in general, both Web2 and Web3 in 5 years. I'm focused on yield optimized stablecoins, and we'll be talking about our project that we hacked at Agentic Ethereum Hackathon. It's aligned. So nice to meet you, and thank you.
Awesome. Let's see. I just need to now share my screen, and then we can actually jump into it. Oh. Okay. All right. Cool. I just want to double check that this is showing up properly. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So, like I said, today maybe some background on what the team has been up to. We have been cooking, and we don't have any announcements to show immediately, or rather to share immediately. The engineering team is continuing to work on improvements for fast mode, our proof verification layer, AVS, which is already live. We've talked about that a ton, but at the same time, there has been a lot of really exciting stuff happening within the wider ZK space. So every week we're doing this kind of ZK news thing, partly because it's really useful for us to know exactly what's going on and what the latest developments are, but also because we think this is something that the wider community would be interested in, and we hope we can generate some discussion around all these topics. So I guess I'm going to jump into it. And for those who tuned in last week, you actually probably already heard about this, but one of our partners, Brevis, they've been best known for their ZK coprocessor. Last week, they made a really big announcement, which is their new ZK VM called Pico. And this is really cool. For anyone who's been following the ZK VM space lately, it's heating up, you know. And again, Yusuf and Malika, if you have some things to add about ZK VMs, please feel free to jump in. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So Brevis came out with Pico, and what's really cool is they claim to outperform a lot of the leaders like RISC-0, SP1, and OpenVM by at least 70 to 150%, just using CPU. So it's super performant. They don't have any GPU acceleration for this yet. But with CPUs, they seem to be faster than like all of the market leaders. And all the different ZK VMs have their own kind of approach to developer experience, performance, capabilities. And what they've really highlighted here is this glue and coprocessor architecture. If you read their blog posts, they cite an article Vitalik wrote that kind of explains this concept. But really at a high level is the general purpose ZK VM acts as a glue, and then there's coprocessors, which are basically specialized circuits that are very optimized for different tasks. And they work together to be able to provide very high performance for different things the ZK VM needs. So precompiles are a type of, precompiles are a type of coprocessor technically, and they're really optimized for some low-level cryptographic tasks, maybe like hashing or signature verification, or rather hash or signature verification. And then you can also have app level coprocessors like the Brevis coprocessor, which can do things like, you know, go through 4,000 Uniswap or 4,000 accounts on Ethereum and look at their Uniswap trade balance and generate a proof that certain accounts have done enough trades, for example. This is cool, again, because you can it's sort of modular, and you can pick and choose the different coprocessors that are best suited for the task, while also having a general purpose ZK VM, which can handle like all the other proving that needs to be done. And without going into too much more detail about the other 2 points, the flexible proving backends and workflows, I don't know how this compares to other ZK VMs on the market, but what's cool here is you can actually switch out different prime fields with different provers just to get more performance out of the specific task that you're trying to use a ZK VM for. And also customized proving workflows. So say, for example, you, for some reason, didn't want to or need to verify on an EVM-based chain, you could leave out that last wrapping step that allows the proof to be easily verified on-chain. So yeah, really exciting stuff from Brevis. Great team. We like them a lot. We want to host them on a stream to talk about this some more. But yeah, any thoughts and comments? Jeannie, I see you raising your hand.
Yeah, it's actually not a personal comment or thought, but I wanted to ask the other people, especially the ones who have been using these ZK VMs. Like in between RISC-0, SP1, I think there's also Nexus and Jolt, but I don't know if that's live or if it's still on development. The one that's A16Z is making.
Yeah, Jolt, I think it's live. Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like people are only using actively RISC-0 and SP1, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, what do you guys think about all of these different products? And I'm also wondering why mostly the two are being used. Maybe the products are not exactly complete in the other ones. And I'm also wondering, all of these argue that they are faster than each other.
We can go by one, maybe. I was sorry.
I also realized that they all saying that our ZK VM is the fastest one. But personally, I had the chance to use to RISC-0 and SP1, but I'm more familiar with RISC-0 because on SP1 I'm getting some errors all the time. I don't know why. Also at the Align Hackathon, I used RISC-0 for the proof generation. For Pico, I haven't had a chance to use it on my own yet. I don't know even it's live or not right now. They just announced it.
I think it is.
Okay.
I'm not sure though. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a chance just to look at the blog post, and the benchmark is truly exciting. Yeah, it sounds like a game changer for the all developers working with CK proofs. I also realized that they say that it has a modular setup. I think that's mean you can tailor the ZKVM to exactly what your project needs, speed, security, or custom computation. Plus, the performance stats are impressive. Like it says, it's outpacing the other solutions like by the wide margin, like the most known ZKVMs like RISC-0 or SP1. Yeah, overall, I am really looking forward to seeing how this can transform the land space for devs and the blockchain technology. Yeah, great work for Brave's team.
So it's actually based on
Cool.
the general KVM using the ROS. And the thing that I love most on this pun is that the developers can choose from many building options or create a fully customized proof backend and virtual machine instances. And then optimizing application performance and user experience, the things that I love most. And if there's any other, probably there are in the coming months, they will be releasing some acceleration versions. Probably they'll be enhancing their ZK computing like capabilities, probably.
Yeah.
I feel like this improvement in the proving technologies is going so fast that every week one can argue that it's faster than the other one. It's just a matter of time passing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think in the end, most of them will be generalized besides some other development details like, I don't know, like modularity or some other things. But like proving and speed and that type of things, I think will be pretty general in the end. But I'm not so sure either. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. One thing that really motivated the I don't know, creation of Aligned and like the founding of the company was the observation that, you know, proving speed and efficiency and just like ZK in general has been going like, you know, like this and getting yeah, exactly. It's like parabolic, right? And the founders recognized or noticed that verification ends up being like the bottleneck because proving is just getting super fast. And in the, I don't know, 8 months that I've been very closely following the ZK space, there's announcements like this every week. And I think it's exciting because ultimately this is like an arms race that results in better technology and more developers being able to use ZK for cheaper to create cool new apps with better security guarantees and verifiable computation. So that's super exciting. And like, I think we're going to see a lot more ZK VMs come out. It'll be interesting to see who, wins or if there even will be a single winner, right? But it's nice to see that there's a lot of options for developers. And I want to do like a dedicated ZK VM stream at some point because I've been
reading
up and studying and I want to learn more.
Yeah, also one thing oops, sorry, you go first.
What do you think that who is going to be the best or winner? I mean, like, are we going to be like filtering them according to their like the fastest one, the cheapest one, or something different? Like
most user friendly, developer experience, distribution. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of responding to the needs of the developers. Like Yusuf said, I'm running into too many bugs in one, and in another. Things like that. I don't think it'll be a matter of speed because it'll be pretty, like, I'm maybe not technical enough to say this 100%, but it's a similar thing in AI. It's like all going in the same direction and level. And in the end, it'll be a matter of UX or which team is more friendly to their customers or whatever. And another thing I really like is how Align team explains the importance of verification. Is that like what they realized from their past experiences working on StarkNet and Cairo VM and ZK, is that they explain it so well how the blockchain, you cannot improve it by adding money or more machines to it, because you have to, because it's decentralized and you have to sacrifice from other things. But what with ZK proving, you can basically improve it endlessly by adding more machines. So
Yeah.
so verification cost will always be the bottleneck compared to something you can improve endlessly with money and tech, which
More
will
hardware.
keep improving. Yeah,
exactly. ZK is how we scale blockchains, and how we think the future of the internet is going to be kind of built. So, all right, let's move on to the next exciting news, and I'm going to pass the mic over to Carlos. I am controlling the slides though, so just tell me if you want me to change things. But we're talking about ZKVMs and continuing to talk about ZKVMs. So Carlos, please.
I
Okay.
just look so happy right now.
Well, guys, let's go on with Succinct. Well, they posted that the Succinct prover network testnet is live. This is impressive. This network is a permissionless protocol that uses crypto economic incentives to expand proving capacities. It's basically a protocol on Ethereum that coordinates the centralized network of provers. According to the team, it's interesting that this network has been running with their partners for months and in private testnet and is now open to the public. Succinct posted the roadmap for this as well, and the paper of the protocol was posted at the end of 2024, I think. So we will see how it progresses in the future. What are your thoughts about this, guys?
Yeah, I don't know about the whole structure of the prover network, but as far as I know, I just go through on Memdocs. They have some smart contracts on Ethereum to handle deposits, withdrawals, and some other functions. Other than that, they handling the proof requests and proof matching done by some off-chain operators, right?
I'm not totally sure exactly how it's working, to be honest, but something that's maybe important to mention for people who don't know Succinct is that SP1 is the ZKVM from Succinct. So just so you know, like this prover network is, I'm guessing it's to generate proofs from SP1 in like a decentralized way, which is good. You don't need to host or rely on a centralized provider for this. But yeah, I couldn't get a code for the testnet to experiment with it. I think it's kind of like gated. They want you to join their Discord and like do things to get a code to join and deposit $10 to generate proofs. But yeah. But anyway, yeah, exciting stuff coming from Succinct. Very technically strong team. SP1 is one of the leading ZKVMs, and I'm curious to see how other projects will deploy or launch the prover networks for their respective ZKVMs. curious to see what RISC-0 does with boundless. Nexus is launching an L1 now for their ZKVM, world supercomputer. So yeah, things are moving.
Yes. Well, if it's okay, guys, let's go on with Ingonyama.
Yeah. All right. We love Ingonyama.
Okay. Well, Ingonyama announces Air Icicle, Plunky 3 on Icicle. This is amazing. And first of all, Icicle is a library designed to accelerate CK provers. And the Plunky 3 library is a modular framework that enables users to write their programs, define constraints, execution trace, and show fields. And AIR is a type of arithmetization. It means algebraic intermediate representation. So if we put everything together, this integration enables users to write AIR programs, AIR circuits in the Plunky 3 AIR language and easily interface with Icicle APIs. And this is impressive. As a proof of concept of this integration, Ingonyama, our partners, offers a few examples, including Fibonacci Air, Blake 3 Air, and Ketchak Air. With this, we can see how Plunky 3, that toolkit that empowers CK developers to build their own CKVMs or CK EVMs, is gaining ground and being used in Brevis CKVM and here as well.
Yeah. So Plunky 3, it's used in SP1, I'm pretty sure, right? As well as Brevis's Pico ZKVM. And yeah, Ingonyama, for people who don't know, they're all about like ZK acceleration. Their event is called ZK Accelerate. They do GPU acceleration. They have this Icicle library. Last week, we actually talked about how they created like a Icicle Stew, and Stew is Starkware's prover. And I forget, it was some crazy increase in speed, like 30 times acceleration, or like 30 time reduction in proving speed. I forget what it is. We have it in our old blog post. Everyone can check it out. But yeah, Ingonyama keeps on doing crazy stuff like this, which is awesome to see.
Yeah. Yes, guys. So let's continue to see what happens with Fermat. Okay. They will now be able to generate proofs for Jolt, another CKVM. On the one hand, Jolt is a CKVM, a zero-knowledge virtual machine that uses the Sumshed protocol to minimize commitment costs for the prover. And on the other hand, Fermat managed the entire proof generation workflow, including optimizing hardware configurations and maximizing resource efficiency. So this integration makes fast and cost-effective CK proofs easily accessible to the developers. Let's remember that a few weeks ago, at the end of January, I think, it was announced that Fermat was able to generate proofs for Stew, the Starware prover. And now we have this news. So good news for Fermat.
Yeah. Firma really, like, we're big fans of Firma and the founder Vanishri, and I feel like we have something about them almost every week in our ZK news because they just keep on shipping. I think they just announced yesterday that they will be generating proofs for Scroll for their ZK EVM.
Yes.
They're
From
also
Nexus?
No, Firma.
No. Yes.
Oh.
They're generating proofs for Scroll and also for ZK Sync. Like, they're one of the multi-provers in ZK Sync now. I don't think they have like a public testnet yet, but they're making it so they can generate proofs for anyone or let anyone generate proofs easily. which is super cool. And I'm sure that at some point down the line, we'll have a really nice integration. So those proofs can just go straight to Align for verification. We just have to get to that. But yeah, so Firma, awesome stuff. Jolt is the ZK VM we were talking about earlier in the stream. That's the one that's developed by A16Z Crypto, like it says on the slide. So yeah, exciting stuff. Any comments on Jolt or Firma, Yusuf, Malike?
Well, it's also, I mean, I don't know if you have checked it out.
Another
but-
ZK.
Another ZK, yeah. And it makes like zero knowledge technology more accessible for both the end users and developers. Have you ever checked the docs or for developers or so on? Yeah, and yep, I don't have much comments on it.
All right.
I also love this thing they're doing, the Pharma House of ZK. When she is doing like educational content about the fundamentals of ZK. I think it's super cool.
I'm gonna go drop that in the chat actually while you guys discuss our last segment here, which is the topic that has brought our wonderful guests to us today, which is a very cool plugin they built. And Jeannie, I'll let you introduce them, and then we can pick their brains and hear more about this.
Yes, so I was super excited about this, and thanks guys for being so active in our hacker community. Yusuf also won a bounty in our previous hackathon. I'm super bullish in general of the contributions you guys have been doing around the ecosystem, like not only Align, but Ethereum, Starknet, and other things. You guys have built an Eliza Align plugin that basically lets you use futures of Align through Eliza and provides functionality, data retrieval, and checking things. I won't get into it too much by reading from here, but let you guys explain it a little bit and then ask a few questions.
Okay, so we designed this as a AI agent for now. Write these actions on using Eliza framework, such as getting proofs or submitting a proof as an action. And we are currently planning to export this function as a plugin to make a PR to the Eliza actual Eliza main repo. And generally, it allows you to what we are doing with Align Player. Usually, all the devs connecting to Align Player through their CLI. We are making them enable to access their all operations from checking the status of a proof or submitting a proof or all of the operations through a Telegram chatbot. Basically, that's what it does.
Amazing. Should I get to the questions, or would you like to add anything, Melike?
We can get into questions.
Yeah, okay.
Boris, you were saying something?
No, I was just going to jump in with questions already, but I know you have some prepared.
I'm curious on what you were gonna ask now.
Probably, I think basically the same questions you have prepared. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen so we can see all of us better.
Okay, so
yeah.
First of all, like anybody can explain this, but I also thought it was a good idea to explain what Eliza is in general, in case there's people in the stage that don't know what it is. And in fact, me myself, like I've had I had to spend some time understanding these AI things because I thought it was more complicated than what it is. But I finally understand it, I think, and it's quite simple, but would love to hear another explanation.
Okay, so let me explain the Eliza. Eliza is an open source framework. It's a lightweight framework and a modular framework that lets you build and deploy AI agents. Essentially, these are smart chatbots that we are calling the AI agents. I think the Eliza currently the most popular framework right now out there. It has almost 15K star in their repo, which is amazing. And I think in the simplest terms, it provides a base for you, like it provides a brain for conversational interaction between its users, while its plugins also it has all on plugins. Plugins act like add-ons that let the agent do extra things, such as interacting with blockchain or generating some image, or I don't know, connecting to the social platforms. So it works like that. Let's say you want to make a swap on Uniswap or buy an NFT from an X marketplace. So you're just chatting with your agent saying that buy me that token or on that price or buy me some $100 Ethereum. And this agent's just performing this text at the back and sends you the results. And I can also add for someone that's hearing about the first time about Eliza, you might think that Eliza is a customizable digital assistant for you, just only for you that not only chats, but also can perform specialized tasks depending on which plugins you attach to it.
Cool. Anyone else who would like to speak?
Well, I just wanted to ask about that just to clarify something. So that's basically the understanding that I had of Eliza. So it's like the back end for it is some LLM, right? Like, can you choose the LLM that you want to run? Like, you know, if you have a OpenAI API key.
Yeah, definitely. At Eliza, it allows you to choose your LLM language. You can select like from OpenAI to Grok, Claude. Just you're giving the API key to the .env file, and it just connects to that LLM, that specific LLM for you to get the response.
Okay.
Why do you guys think Eliza became the most popular one? Like, I'm sure there's like other ones, but this one just like boomed. And like, is it the number of plugins it has, or like what made it better than the others at the start? I wonder.
Yeah, first of all, it's really easy to use. You can just use it and integrate your idea. And it has a lot of plugins to connect to Discord, connect to Twitter, connect to everywhere. It already pre-written, these plugins. Like I said, it's very, very popular and has almost 15K stars at the repo. And I think it's very popular because it offers you a ground that you can build onto it. And there are currently a lot of, like you said, there are currently a lot of developers using this framework. So kind of we also helping each other. So when we stuck or encounter to an error or a bug, we can look at each other's code and solve it. And currently, what we are doing, we are building this as an agent that you can chat through Telegram, and we are planning to export this as a plugin and make a PR to the main Eliza repo for everyone uses. That's why it's important to make it as a plugin, simply for everyone's use, so they can also add additional functionality like building a structure.
I think the most important part was for us, the community, because at first when we were trying to use Eliza just for an instance, we were trying to download the package, and I can remember how terrified I was because there were a lot of problems, there were a lot of errors occurring on installing the package, and I couldn't get it over on it. And we were just discovering it with Yusuf. Like, we were asking to the community, we were trying to search it, we were asking for OpenAI. But it's really great for us to like have the community to have like they are really good at communication and they're so fast. So that's another key point for us.
good point. Like other than UX and how do I say not composability, but like being suitable for different systems. I guess support is important, or having a community that's like collaborating with each other to build open source tech.
Exactly.
I wanted to say, yeah, it's like earlier when we were talking about ZKVMs and this question of which ZKVM will win. You know, maybe it's the one that has the most active Discord for people who have
Yeah.
bugs and
Maybe.
errors that need to
Yeah.
be fixed.
Because you know
Yeah,
you are not
that's-
alone. Because one more person has just obstacle. There were a lot of obstacles with it, and they got that error. So
Yeah.
that's
I
amazing.
I want to, before Jeannie, before you continue with other questions, because Yusuf, you mentioned that like with an Eliza based agent, you can just chat with it, and if it has, you know, all the permissions and you give it some funds and you know, whatever plugins you needed to, I don't know,
Yeah.
I guess use a wallet and interact with, say, Ethereum, you can just say, buy these tokens at X price. You know, I want you to buy this many tokens in this price range. And this basically just sounds like an intents based kind of approach to, say, executing a swap. And I'm curious if either of you have played around with something like that or seen how well this works, because like I would imagine it would require the agent to be constantly checking prices and then just waiting until it sees it. But even then, it's not always like, you know, would you have to also tell it the sort of like error margin? Because how
Yeah,
could it
definitely.
actually do that, right? It's not like, it's not a solver, right? So
Currently, I have used the Solana plugin for the Eliza. It has I had some swap operations on Radium. You are saying that I want to swap for 0.1 Solana to convert it some this token with contract address, and it's making that swap for you. But to adding that that I want to buy it at that price, not now, wait until that time. Yeah, you can counter some errors on that, and that of course will has some slippage tolerance for it. I think to make it happen, it will you need to use the memory management component for the Eliza. You will just need to repeat that process at the back, just checking the price all the time, and at that time it can perform this swap operation with a slippage tolerance on every DEX step, like on Radium. But yeah,
I see.
it can be done, and yeah.
Cool.
It successfully outperforms the transaction, but the thing over here is just the indexer is not like super fast on blockchain. So maybe sometimes you can get some delays or not on time. So that's another question, like for specific prices or specific price ranges is okay. But for specific prices, it's a bit hard to index for Eliza as fast as possible. So
Interesting.
but I definitely believe that they will be fixing that, and that will be super fast as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Any other questions?
We've talked a little bit about it, but I was gonna ask if you guys like encountered major issues, maybe related to security or privacy, even. Like, can you foresee? I think especially about security, can you foresee some problems these models or plugins could have? Like, if a few weeks ago we've discovered some bugs in ZKVM, so this like showed us that this technology is not maybe completely ready for mass adoption. Like, there are still some security concerns to think about before running things into full on. Yeah. So do you foresee things like this in these AI agents or plugins or yeah?
So we encouraged some security and privacy challenges while developing this plugin. Like the risk of the data leakage on the chat interface, actually, because we were trying to connect into the Telegram interface, and where the sensitive information could be shared during conversations. So it's something that's because of you are depending on into another service as Telegram. And the other thing is that the communication protocol between the user device and the plugin, because it could lead like the interception or manipulation of data. I saw a video yesterday and it was saying like, okay, if you have these kind of versions on iOS, then probably you will be, it's really easy for you to be hacked. You need to just close the JavaScript functions on your Safari because they are embedding some functions into the website that iOS cannot prevent it. So these kind of things that I mean on, it's because of your device and the plugin. And the other thing is that the improper handling of like cryptographic keys, because we are using it for proof generation or transaction sign-in, and it could also expose them to unauthorized access. And the last thing that we are concerning about is that the third-party dependencies, as I have mentioned, like the external services like Telegram, like all other user devices, this operation systems and so on.
Yeah, it's cool. Like the plugins allow these agents to be very flexible and to do a lot of things, but it seems like every plugin just creates a new attack surface.
Yes, that's right. That's
so
correct.
it's a double-edged sword. Yeah.
The next question, well, we did talk about this a little bit too, but maybe somebody would like to add something. Like, first of all, like the challenges or the biggest challenges you guys ran into during development, and how you guys overcame them, or like, do you guys have any expectations to work better with these products, like towards, I don't know, I don't know who to expect things towards, but like in general, maybe the community or other developers, or yeah.
So the challenge over on that part was that for the hackathon we didn't have much time left. So I was going to be specifying the hours specifically, but Yusuf just didn't want me to expose it, so I'm not going to be saying that. Sorry. So it was a bit rushed for us. There were not enough time to put the project into production. We are still working on some challenges like vault integration, getting errors, and submitting proofs on Aligned. But probably we'll be fixing that as soon as possible. And for the milestones, you can mention, Yusuf.
Yeah, like Melike said, our approach that you are submitting the proof to our agent. Maybe we can also accept the code as an input to generate the proof at the back instead of submitting your proof. But of course, this approach open to some vulnerabilities. Or you just can say that write me a SDK app with these constraints, generate the proof, and send it through Aligned. Other than that, for the next steps, there's literally no limit. Yeah, we can carry out all operations on Aligned that we are doing through our CLI to these agents can carry out all the operations.
By the way, I completely agree with what Melike said. That's why we did our first hackathon like 20 days long because I don't think I could like get the feedback I want from the developer community within 4 or 5 days. Like, I don't know, I just want to have people build things, and I never thought 4 or 5 days was a reasonable time period. I don't know, just a personal opinion. I mean, it depends. Do you want to make a competition, or do you want to actually support people to build things? Like it turns more into a weird competition when it's like so time limited, I feel like.
Yeah,
depends on what the scale of the thing you are doing, I guess, also. And amount of competition there is. But since like there's not many people building things with ZK, I don't see the point of creating that tense competition environment yet. Anyways, I'll get to the last question before talking too much, since we're also running out of time. This is a fun question. Any surprising or unexpected aha moments you guys had while building this project?
Well, I don't remember specifically. I don't exactly remember that specifically that moment at the moment, but I think using the remember to look the hackathon repos that we used at the Align hackathon, like ZK quiz repo for the details of the sending proof instruction help us a lot. Other than that, that was not a moment. It was pretty straightforward. Yeah, for sure.
So I
Cool.
didn't have any kind of like that moment. It will be boring, but sorry.
It was a tough question, I guess.
There's no wrong answer,
Hardest
no
one.
right answer. Yeah. The truth. I wanted to, so Jeannie, maybe you kind of asked this, but I wanted to come back to this earlier question, which was just to wrap things up, like the motivation or some of the use cases you guys were thinking about when you decided to build this plugin for Eliza agents to interact with Aligned. Like I can think of some cool use cases, but I'm curious to hear, I don't know, the ones that you maybe pitched to the judges in the hackathon.
Yeah, like you all know that I also joined the Align hackathon. It was very fun for me. And at there, we to manual the whole process, like from sending proof, generating proof, and making all the transaction, etc. The Align team called some bash code to automate the whole thing. We were just running those files, and basically what we are currently doing is to make it all these operations through our agents. And I think the biggest benefit of this is simply giving options to the developer that they don't have to directly contact to the go through the docs of Aligned, and they'll simply chat through an agent to make the all operations for them and saving a lot of time, of course.
Cool. So like say somebody has their project and their agent has, edit access for a repo for some project. If that project is using Align for verification, the agent can just take care of it. It doesn't need to. They don't need to write the code.
Just verify.
Yeah. Cool. The idea that I was thinking about was like thinking about the different on-chain things that you could do with ZK, right? So like some of the examples that we were discussing before were like, well, I should say that once a proof is verified using Aligned, you can consume this fact that the proof was correctly verified through our smart contract on Ethereum. And this lets you use this information in downstream dApp logic, right? Like, for example, in the, I don't know, ZK quiz or, I forget what the other one was, that NFT example. It's like you can mint an NFT, or a user can mint an NFT if they have a valid proof, like if they have proof of something, right? So if there's like their proof has been verified, then they are given permission to mint an NFT. So I imagine that like now an Eliza-based agent could do some downstream on-chain actions because it's able to check directly from Aligned, which is maybe faster than having to go read from Ethereum, and just do things a bit quicker and trigger other downstream actions. I don't know. That's what I had in mind, but I wasn't sure if there was a more specific use case you had.
Yeah, we can also add that functionality, but we will also need to wait for the proof verification comes from the Align layer to the Ethereum. Mm-hmm. So we will also check on that proof also, so it doesn't convert the whole structure. We just can add this functionality to minting that NFT if the proof is valid.
So it's what do we need to improve that? Like, I wonder.
I have a comment on that latency issue actually that I'll add, but I wanted to let Malike say something.
Sorry.
No worries. So it's not about that specifically that project, but right now I'm also focused on the DAOs, the DAO mechanisms, the voting powers, and so on. So I definitely believe that it will be also using on voting, ZK voting, because it will probably enable private, uh, yet verifiable elections for our governance votes. So that's something that we're like talking about like for about 2 years in every hackathon, but nobody really does this. Like, please, somebody comes up and just make it. Every single Ethereum hackathon, they are saying, okay, we are doing issues and voting things, but nobody exactly does this. And I
They
have never
made
seen
one in
something
the
like
Aligned hackathon, but maybe it's not the same thing, or is it?
Did they win?
The TubiTalk guys made a private voting app in the Aligned hackathon that uses ZK and FHE. I'm actually gonna write a blog post about it. I will send it to you if you would like to contribute to the post. That would be great.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, so DAOs are the reason I kind of, not the only reason, but one of the main things that got me into crypto like 3 years ago. And I still love the concept. And yeah, private voting, that's a tricky one, right? Everyone just uses Snapshot, which is just like an off-chain like off-chain vote. And then I guess you can use Tally to actually execute on-chain actions, but
Yeah,
that gets
most of
expensive
them
and
use it.
complicated. I used to be a contributor at Gitcoin, so I've seen the governance process, and it's complicated, but I really do love it. I can plug the How to DAO book by Punkar and Iwaki, which I did some interviews for like 2 years ago. But yeah, that's cool. I like that use case. I mean, agents in DAOs is like, it's a really good idea. Even if it's just simple things like summarizing and giving recommendations based on forum discussions and what people are saying in Discord and, broader market information. Yeah.
What do you think that are we going to be like having our agents on DAOs? Like, not exactly a real MAO, but an agent of MAO for DAOs specifically. It symbolizes me to vote.
Yeah. It's like your representative. It's
yeah.
And I think these like agentic representatives, this goes beyond just DAOs, but DAOs are nice because you're doing like on-chain governance maybe. I like the idea in theory. People talk about how companies are going to do like business to business interactions all through agents, which are able to process more information faster and be more efficient than like human operators. I don't know. Like, I mean, I think we'll get there eventually, but I think what we need to have like technologically for that to happen is like verifiability for AI agents, which is a whole other topic that is, related. I think until we can kind of understand why an agent is doing something and be assured of it following the protocol correctly, it'll be tough. And even like we're seeing improvements for non-crypto AI chatbots, like deep research from ChatGPT and like the chain of thought stuff. I think that's really cool. Like that is a huge jump from like where things were 2 years ago. Like I've been using ChatGPT to write code for scientific data visualization. I'm not a developer. Like I write some Python, I write some R, but I've mostly used ChatGPT for like, writing a bunch of Python code for me to use for my research papers.
What about if users can like prove that they are belonging to a group, like a specific university alumni or like an age group or something? What do you think about it? Right now, Boris, I'm the one who asks questions.
yeah, it's good. I like being asked questions. What do you mean by that? Like proving that?
Like a proof of humanity system, like where users prove they are unique without revealing their identity. Like you are a university alumni or belonging a DAO or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think that verifiability aspect is like, it's important, right? And that's one of the things that ZK will probably will hopefully enable, right? But like, yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know. To answer your initial question, I think we will probably see this kind of stuff. Agent tech seems to be advancing super quickly. I mean, just over the past 6 months, it's been like a total technological explosion. You two know that better than I do. So it's probably only a matter of time before we see like DAO delegates that are like AI agents, you know. And you guys are helping make that happen. Oh, I'm just realizing the time, and we need to wrap up because we have other meetings to get to.
We should do this again. It was fun.
Yeah.
Definitely.
This is awesome. Yeah, Carlos, Jeannie, anyone else? Quick closing thoughts before I just thank you again for joining, and thank everyone for tuning in. No? Okay. Well,
No.
then, like I just said, thank you so much for joining. This was a pleasure.
Thank you.
You guys are welcome to come jam and talk about stuff on a stream anytime. It doesn't have to be a community call. We just want to host these and like have people come talk about cool tech. So let us know, and thank you everyone who's listening, and hope you all have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.